calling in from just down the road with the Fox Sports Football Media 2019 Symposium. Getting ready to go down, getting ready to take in everything from the NFL and that Fox group wants all the good NFL on Fox analysts to know about before the 2019 season. Joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show once again, good friend Charles Davis. How are you, Charles?
I'm doing well, Rich. How are you doing? Happy football season.
I'm doing fine. So let's get right into it. Now that Cutler's gone from the NFL, is he gonna join you and Burkhardt in the booth, Charles? Can we get him back? Because that was just so fleeting a couple of years ago for you guys.
It was. I have not heard anything about that. You and I both know anything is possible.
Okay.
But I'm hearing Jay's just doing star turns on his wife's TV show where he tends to come in and disrupt things and steals all scenes.
Yes, he does.
In them.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not heard a single thing about him coming back and wanting to join the booth and work with us, at least not yet. Hey, I'm getting ready to go to our seminar, so I may find out something there. We'll see in a few minutes.
You are closer to the OC than I am right now, physically right now, Charles. You are closer to that part of the country. All right, so it is you and Burkhardt again in the booth for another season?
That is my understanding, me
Fantastic.
and Kevin, and then Kenny Albert jumps in when Kevin goes to do baseball.
That's right.
During World Series time, then back again. Yeah, I'm lucky to be standing next to him one more time.
Charles, it's a great listen. It's a great booth, and I can't wait. The season's just right around the corner.
I know.
So I just sense it's still the Patriots world, and we are rent payers within it, Charles. I wonder what you think. Just about a month plus away from the regular season here.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all, Rich. I think it's folly for us to think otherwise, frankly. Every time we think we've kind of got them on the ropes, what's been a unsuccessful season for the Patriots has ended in the divisional playoffs. I mean, that's a lousy year for them. So that for us to think otherwise is crazy. It's the AFC East is the Patriots. We ink it in and see if anyone else can compete for a wild card. They'll take one of the two first-round buys, open weeks, and they go from there. Yeah, and look, for everything that we think that they've lost, they find ways to fill in. Let's be honest about it, Rich. Let's just make it very simple. Kyle Van Noy, Detroit second-round pick. When the Patriots acquired him, did anyone pencil him in as have 2 Super Bowl rings and play a significant part of their defense? No, but that's how the Patriots do it.
Yeah, and then that's why I was joking last week when Mike Daniels was released by the Green Bay Packers. It's just a matter of time until he gets that 1-year, $7-8 million below market level deal with the Patriots, where he'll go to the Pro Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And the Michigan branch of the Patriots and. In terms of the Lions went ahead and did that. It's just amazing how New England is now, as we all know, populating other parts of the NFL landscape. That said, who do you think has the best chance of unseating them coming up this fall?
Well, I think that Kansas City obviously got a huge break on Tyreek Hill. We thought that there would be a suspension and he would miss games. It doesn't appear that other than for injury now he will do that, and that just keeps them as super high-powered as you're going to get on the offensive side of the ball with him, Travis Kelce, and right on down the line, and obviously Mahomes triggering all that. And I was joking last week with someone that's like, yeah, I can't wait to see the first article written about Patrick Mahomes when around week 6 or 7 he's only on pace for 40 touchdown passes, and everybody's talking about how his play has fallen off. Because he got through 50 last year. That's where he set the standard. But I think that they are the prime ones. I think the Indianapolis Colts, there's a lot of optimism there. Andrew Luck healthy, the way they played down the stretch. But they are in now a brutal division. And it wasn't long ago, Rich, we would have laughed at the idea we'd call the AFC South a brutal division, but it is. Tennessee's 9-7, doesn't make playoffs last year. Houston got back off the deck after some injury-plagued times, and they ended up being the team there. Indianapolis, of course, pressed them and got to the playoffs last year. And Jacksonville was supposed to be the team contending for the AFC Championship, and they fell on their face. But now they have their quarterback Foles. The defense is back. You would expect them to be pretty serious contenders too. So I would look in that area as well. I think that's going to be prime spots for people to do the chasing. And then, of course, coming out of the North, Pittsburgh isn't even really talked about as much as before because everyone's focusing in on Cleveland. I just think the silence of the offseason for Pittsburgh helps them as it did for Seattle last year. And I still think Pittsburgh runs that division until further notice.
Well, I mean, I said it's the AFC North is the Ravens to lose, that I think Lamar Jackson is going to improve in a manner that people do not think that he can because of the way that he threw the football last year or didn't throw the football last year. And then all of a sudden over the weekend, Brian Billick's on the NFL Network, chit-chatting with John Harbaugh, talking about, potentially 150 carries for Lamar Jackson this year. And Harbaugh joked saying, take the over. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So I don't know how you could take right, because he mentioned that Cam Newton, the most Cam Newton ran a ball during the season, and that number was high. It was about 150, 160, and Harbaugh said take the over, Charles.
Well, here's the thing. He's going to challenge conventional wisdom. Cam has already done that because of those types of workload and carries, right? But Cam also, physique-wise, at 6'5", 6'6", whatever you want to call it, 250. He's built a little bit different for that workload,
right? And
he's one of their best short yardage runners. That's what they've done with him. With Lamar, that's a different body type, but he is also a guy that's used to understand where the hits come from, how they happen. But I just think you are really challenging conventional wisdom, and maybe they'll break it and give us something new. And let's say he does go over 150 and stays healthy through the year. Now we'll start searching for more Lamar Jacksons out there, and more quarterback run game would be a little bit more like college. Another aspect of the college game creeping into the pros, Rich, if indeed that happens. I will tell you I would be skeptical of running him that much again and again and again if that's your starting quarterback. Cam's been a whole different animal. Can Lamar Jackson join him in that club? Well, if they're going to actually challenge it, we'll find out, won't we? Again, as I've said, I'm a little skeptical about that one. I wouldn't go that far with him, especially since you went out and acquired Mark Ingram.
Yeah,
I've got a heavy workload guy. Gus Edwards gave him runs last year.
Right.
I don't know that I would go that far with my starting quarterback.
Charles Davis, Fox Sports, my compadre from the NFL Network, sitting next to me at drafts, etc., right here on the Rich Eisen show. Exactly. So Hard Knock starts August 6th. I can't wait. Our buddy Mayock, I think, is going to set the record for trying to be the most scarce general manager in the history of that franchise. We were saying the other day, right here, Charles, you'll like this because you're Mr. Pop Culture too. That Brockman and I were saying, like that, that shot from The Town where somebody's in a mask is spray painting over the security cameras, like that. That's Mayock for this. What do you think? What do you think, Charles? You like that?
I love that.
Yeah,
I think that Mike will actually have someone else in the Mayock family in the mask spray painting. Because he is the GM now, and he won't have his fingerprints on it at all. But it'll be someone that buried in his past that he'll pull out, one of his guys, to do that. But once that camera does find him, it could be pure gold because he can run from it as much as he wants to.
I know.
But you and I both know that they've come in with a hit list of who they expect to be a big part of this.
Yeah.
And Mike and John head the list.
Yeah.
And then they'll work from there. And I can't wait. I absolutely, positively cannot wait. And those, the requisite bringing the guy in to cut him time frame.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting as heck. Because Mike's going to have to handle all that. I'm sure John won't be doing that part of it. It'll be more Mike. It may be pure gold.
Well, we're
Charles, just sitting there eagerly waiting for it.
Charles, Mayock probably if he is intimating, come on, guys, why do I got to have that camera in my face? Come on, guys, we're really going to put the microphone there. Mike probably knows the microphone person, the camera person, the producer by name. He might know them by name because of how much time he's spent in NFL films in his life, So it's amazing. What if we had told him years ago on the set, hey, Mike, you're going to be the GM of a team one day, and your first summer as GM is going to be chronicled by Hard Knocks. What do you think?
Oh God, we would have gotten that look and that sneer.
Sneer.
Well,
Sneer.
The first part you might be right, but the second part, there is no way that's going to happen.
But you also go back in the day with Gruden too, right? Like, what's your history with Jon, Charles? Walk me through that.
John's first job coaching when he was a GA, a graduate assistant coach, and his first job was at the University of Tennessee. That was my last year playing. That was my 5th year. I was a redshirt senior. And we lived on the same floor for that year. So that's where we first got to know each other. And then we coached together at the University of the Pacific and were roommates for 14, 15 months, somewhere in that time frame. So when you put all that together, I go back a ways with him. And that's why, when people always talk about, Jon, work ethic, getting up at 3:16, 3:17 in the morning, blah, blah, there's a lot of skepticism, as you might imagine, Rich. People are like, no one does that. I witnessed it, so I know it happens. I know this is real when that clock goes off, because he used to come wake me up. And every time I tell him, go away, like, what are you doing? It's 3:20-something in the morning. And he's like, look, Coach, here's how it's going to go down. We're going to go for a run, and then we're going to come back. We're going to shower. We're going to stop at a little corner place. I'm going to get a big gulp, big thing of coffee. You're going to get whatever it is you want to drink. We're going to get to the office. We're going to get to work. He said, by the time everyone else gets to the office, we'll be a half day ahead of them. Now, you add up all those half days. You know where we are? We're way ahead. So let's get moving. And next thing you know, I'm out there running the streets of Stockton, California with Jon. We're going by, we're getting the coffee and what have you. We're in the office, and we're going to work. And you see how he parlayed that and turned that work ethic and production into the Jon Gruden we know today. So anyone who always wants to tell me, well, there's no way that could happen, I just laugh at them. I was like, oh, it happened. And it happened every day. And I experienced it. So I learned, I think I had a good work ethic, Rich.
Yeah.
But when you're around a guy like Gruden, it gets honed in ways like you would never expect. And I'm never getting that amount of sleep I lost back. That I know for sure.
That's fantastic. Charles Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple more minutes left with you, Charles. All right, Charles. On Friday's show, as you know, Mike Del Tufo, my sound man here, my audio executive. Pardon me, Mike. I didn't mean to downgrade you. Audio executive. And I had a moment here on the show, and I'd love for you to tell me what you think is more likely. I looked at Del Tufo with his Callaway hat on his head, and I said I would eat that hat if Ezekiel Elliott was healthy, human being on planet Earth, and wasn't the starting running back of the Dallas Cowboys Week 1, despite all the contractual stuff going on. And he said he would eat that hat if Rob Gronkowski played at all in 2019. Which one of us, Charles Davis, is more likely to eat a hat this fall?
I actually think, Mike, I love you, but I actually think you bring it to salt and pepper.
No way. He's not
I really
playing.
think Zeke could be there week 1 and playing. And I just think that out of the two bets, it's much more likely that somehow Brady talks Gronk into making a stretch run.
Don't you think? I think so.
They don't need him.
That's just the way I go with it. The Cowboys know what they have to do. And remember, Stephen Jones will have to own, and I don't think he minds this, but he'll have to own taking Reggie Jackson's quote and applying it to Zeke. He's the straw that stirs our drink. I know that he's third in line or whatever for the contract, but he's first in line in how the Cowboys play on offense. So minus the commissioner having another visit with Zeke, I just think that they're going to find a way to get that done, because your window for Super Bowls, you can't pull Steven Strasburg and shut them down early and say, we'll get them next year. You got to go for it every single year. Nice. I think Zeke is the way for Dallas. And I think that Dallas knows that.
Excellent analogy using what happened with Strasburg and the Nats years ago. So salt and pepper, ketchup, Mike time, it's more likely for you than it is for me is basically what
Mike, I love you. Make it whatever stew you want. But you're more likely, and wouldn't that be something if both of them came true?
You know what? I don't think Zeke is sitting out week 1. I think you're right. They're going to figure out a way.
I don't either.
Because, all Stephen Jones needs to ask his dad, how'd that work out with Emmett missing the first two games? Well, and Jerry could say, well, we won the Super Bowl anyway. That said, that's not my point. It was not a fun holdout.
Yeah, they went 0-2 when Emmett didn't play.
Oh, yeah. That's why Emmett came in, and they got it done.
That's why Emmett that's when Charles Haley put that helmet imprint into the locker room wall when he hurled it across the thing, screaming, "Get Emmett in here."
Hey, before I let you go, I know you got to get to your symposium. Tell me about the XTech shoulder pads that you're involved with, Charles.
Yeah, Bob Broderick and Ted Monica are the co-founders of these. And, Rich, they were kind of a niche company when it first started, and now they are a monster. If you look it up and check it out now, the players going into 2019 have voted XTech the number one shoulder pad in the game. And a lot of it's motivated by how we're playing now. We're taking the head out of the game, Rich. Shoulders are way more important. These things are custom built, form-fitting for these guys. Guys like Quentin Nelson are wearing them. Andrew Luck's wearing them. And remember, he's coming back from shoulder issues. It's a big deal. Matt Ryan throws passes in them. Eli Manning. You got some big-time players. Oh, yeah, Khalil Mack thumps people with them, too. So these pads are the best things, I think, on the market and continuing to grow. What Ted and Bob have done in creating this shoulder pad company and taking it to the masses, 400-plus colleges, 300-plus high schools, the pro teams gaining momentum. I actually did this last week, Rich, and a friend called me from Minnesota and said, "I heard you talk about XTech. That is so cool. My high school just bought them for the entire team." So I know that they're taking off a crazy momentum, but go to xtech.com. Check out the promos and promo opportunities that are there. And if you have a kid, if you have someone you care about, put them in those pads. I put my son in them his senior year of high school after shoulder troubles his junior year. Did not miss a snap his senior year. I think these things are the best things on the market.
XTechPads.com or at XTech Pads on Instagram. Hey, Charles, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Do me a favor. Take a photo, snap a pic of the PowerPoint screen grab that they're going to put up on, maybe it is Eric Shanks, who's in charge of Fox Sports, showing how their ratings go up when Mike Del Tufo is doing the audio for a game. Can you snap
no doubt about it. That'd be right out of the gate.
Thank you,
I'm
Charles.
sure. Yeah, it'll be first up on the agenda.
Good, guys.
Take care,
Talk to you
Charles.
later.
You got it. That's Charles Davis.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.